Live from PTV Studios, and we are live on Precious Television, we are live on TFM TV, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook at Ask the Counsellors. Ask the Counsellors. If you have not subscribed to our page, please kindly do so that you can get all the updates and notifications on the different pages as well. This evening I'm your host, Dr. Selassie Ajay Sari, and I have with me here in the studios, starting from my far right hand side, I have Pastor Kulari Nicole here with us. I have Reverend Siya Dubuku, and I have Reverend Mike Amakuma also here with us. They've been married for over 30 years each, and with a well of experience under their belt, and to help you this evening. This evening, if you have any questions, you can text message them to us. You can WhatsApp your questions also to us on this number 020-343-8710, 020-343-8710. If you are watching from outside Ghana, the country code is +233-20-343-8710. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can just type out your question and our team will pick it up, and then the counselors will help you in answering your questions. And this evening, and I promised last week, we're going to start with the questions that we had from last week. We had about 10 questions coming in before the show ended, and over the repeat shows as well, we had some questions coming in, and I'm going to start with that. At some point in this evening show, I'm going to open the phone lines, so that those of you who want to directly engage, or the questions are so long you cannot text them, you have the opportunity to ask the counselors to help you with. And this evening we have a question from Dora from Abuakwa. And she says, please, I wanted to know if staying away from sex can cause any effect to the body. My husband and I have been separated for 5 years. Do you have any comments there? Reverend Ajo, probably will start with you this evening.
I was thinking the would be able to answer. From my layman's point of view, I don't think that not having sex does anything to the body or physically. But I must say that because you have had sex before, you have the worms working inside of you. At times you may feel like, but it doesn't have any negative effect on you. So what happens to those who are leaving? Some people stay for a long time without having sex. So I don't think that it has anything to do. But if you think about it, you're starting to know I'm not having sex, people are saying things. So it becomes some regulations of your mind. They will start thinking that it is possible. But I believe that if you are a Christian and you don't have a husband, then the time to get very close to God and all the health
side effects, or it doesn't do anything to your body if you are not having sex. So if you look at the purpose of sex, so for pleasure and for procreation, so once you are not having sex, those two, so the pleasure bit is and the procreation bit, but aside that, it doesn't have any negative. Your bones won't dry out. We even say, it doesn't have.
Precious one, as we begin a new year, I want to introduce my latest book to you, Fasting and Prayer, Releasing God's Explosive Power. In my almost 40 years in a miracle ministry, I've seen God do some incredible things, notable miracles, signs and wonders. I've seen God take me and other people from being nobodies and make us somebodies. And today we can rejoice in the Lord for giving us a worldwide ministry, a TV station that reaches the world, a university college, a growing family, and many much more. Many people have asked me, Bishop, what's your secret? Unfortunately, I cannot share it all with you in one video. But one of the most important keys for me has always been fasting and prayer. Real biblical fasting and prayer. Many of us know about fasting and prayer, but did you know that it is possible to fast and yet not derive the desired results from it? Did you know that there is the God kind of fast that brings atomic power? Did you know that you can fast the right way for 3 to 10 days and still derive more benefit than someone who has fasted the wrong way for 21 or even 40 days? And did you know that for lack of proper knowledge concerning fasting, some Christians have hurt themselves and some have even died? If only people understood, businessmen, professionals, ministers of state, and ministers of the gospel, if they would go into the secret place, they would return in the power of the Spirit of God. When Jesus said, when you fast, not if you fast, he revealed the seminal truth that fasting is not only necessary but also beneficial. Sadly, many Christians have been uninformed and misinformed concerning why, when, and how we must fast. Many others are also missing out on the explosive power that could be released through fasting to accomplish much in their lives. That is why I believe God has led me to publish this book, Fasting and Prayer, Releasing God's Explosive Power. This is the result of years of Bible study, exhaustive research, and practical personal experience on the subject of biblical fasting and prayer. The principles taught in this material are not theories, but have been tried and tested and have proved to be extremely effective. Therefore, I am confident to share them with you. This book on fasting and prayer will show you the real meaning of fasting, as well as the different types of biblical fast, how to break your fast properly, and many other essential lessons on the subject of fasting. If prayer moves the hand of God, imagine what prayer coupled with fasting will do. After reading this book, I assure you that your life, family, and ministry will never be the same again. I encourage you to get a copy on ajinasaribooks.com or amazon.com or from any leading bookstore in this country. Get this book. It will change your life. Do you realize that each of us has either been a boss or a subordinate at one point or the other in our lives? Beloved, one of the greatest mistakes I've observed as I've traveled around the world in over 100 nations and all over Africa is the mindset that says, I want to be my own boss. I want to do my own thing. I can't work with somebody. I can't prosper unless I am number one or I am the boss. As a result of this perception, there are uncounted millions who have sadly left great opportunities where they were succeeding while serving and are now struggling while leading. Precious one, don't be caught in that same trap. What many don't know is that at times it is better to be number two in a team that is going somewhere than number one in a team that is going nowhere or where nothing is happening. In many
Good evening once again. We are back to you. Sorry for the break in transmission. We had a few technical difficulties beyond our control, but that has been resolved. So we are good to go, and we are glad to be back to continue with this evening session. This question says, I have a child with someone that I love, yet my parents aren't in support of the relationship because they believe there is witchcraft in the guy's family. Help me out, please, because I am emotional and psychologically disturbed. Reverend Ankuma, yes.
Yeah, I was saying that if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, and your would-be is a Christian, then you wouldn't want to believe that because there is something there, witchcraft there or something like that. But if not, some of these things happen. In the old, like I was saying, in the olden days, the reason why parents would find suitors for their wards or their children was that there was a belief that if there's an incurable disease in a family and they go and marry in that family, you have that problem and that kind of thing. And I always say there's always a spiritual aspect of marriage. The devil is works against marriages. So, and witchcraft is real. It's not just physicians. I mean, there are people who are. They have so. It's if there is a Christian, then you should just forget about it. See their pastor, pray, and then pray for their parents and convince them that even if it's there, because we are believers, nothing will happen. We can go and marry. But if they are not, then you should be careful. Otherwise, especially when they say it, you say, "Oh, nothing will happen." You go and you realize that you have problems.
But she has one child. She has one child with the guy.
Is it?
She has one child with the guy.
It's still the same thing. I mean, if they are unbelievers, having a child with a person does not mean that you should marry that person.
Okay.
So if they are unbelievers, and there are people are saying that, hey, there is that, and or you can investigate with elders to see whether it is true. But me, the way things are, if you are not Christians, don't just ignore that. Oh, nothing will happen. At times, something will happen. Tell me that I'm not happy about that. Something will happen.
Pastor Hilary,
yes, I was going to say that there are times when you are in small communities, when things like these are going on. People get to hear. Let's say if there is a family who is involved in witchcraft, people get to hear. So we don't know if that is the situation here, where the mother or the parent is saying, well, that guy, that guy's family is, like a witchcraft kind of family. I think first of all, we want to establish, are they Christians? If they are, you've given birth to a child, you have a child for him, and you love him, then I think we can look at it this way. You love him, and maybe you want to continue, and maybe he too wants to continue with that relationship. So if you are getting this kind of backlash from the parents, saying this is happening on the other end and we cannot accept this, then I think he has to do his homework. He has to make sure, like Reverend said, there must be some investigation. That's where no man is an island. You want to know if the guy has friends in the community. Check those friends out. Find out if they know about that family. Or you find people who know about that family. Or even pastors or elders that you think would give some kind of information, because it is with that information becomes your tool where you can now go back to your parents and say, maybe things have changed. Maybe they've even given their lives to Christ and now they're a different family altogether. You can now engage with your parents to say, Mommy, it's no longer the same. This has happened. And there can be a complete turnaround altogether. So I feel the research has to be done. And if it's something that has happened before and is continuing, then she would have to put a halt to that relationship. Wait, seek the face of the Lord, because they have a child together. So seek the face of the Lord and see. It doesn't mean that because she has a child for him, that means she should get married to him. Okay? He can take responsibility of the child, but if things have changed and there's no witchcraft, maybe those people are now new people in Christ and all of that, then he can now go back to his parents, do his assignment, work with them, and let them open their hearts again. It will take a while, so he has to be patient for all of this to happen.
Reverend Ajo, you.
I want to believe that there is no family in Africa that does not have something negative in the family. It is just like before you should marry, go and ask whether there's diabetes in the family. Ask whether there's high blood pressure in the family. Ask whether people have had cancer in the family. Are you getting me? And so it is upon what is the basis of the witchcraft scene? Is it because they fly at night, or because they kill, or because they do harm, or is just I believe somebody came and told the family that this one is a witch. What is the evidence? I'm not debunking the fact that there are witchcrafts, but I want to believe, like they have said, witchcraft and Christianity and you marrying, it is like somebody bringing someone to me and I say that, oh, I just don't like the person. What is the reason for not liking the person? Oh, they say they are witches in the family. So they should do proper investigation. Even confront your husband. Are there witches, cases of witchcraft in the family? Other than that, I would say that when the lady was going out with the man, didn't the mother know that they were going out? And now a child has come in. Now they should leave because they are witchcrafts. Then this is the moment for you to start to look for Christ. Join with a church that can pray with you, that can stand with you. Other than that, in Africa or in every family, there's something negative that we all will run away from if we should run.
I think, when it comes to health issues, that one people can easily deal with. But when it comes to something like witchcraft, where they realize this is spiritual, this one we can't handle.
Why
that's where I think
as for witchcraft, it is the Christianity knows that it is the smallest of demons that we have to deal with. But there are even people who are occultists. People are occultists, and people are like, I wouldn't want to go in for anybody who does sakawa. Are you getting it? So these are some of the things that are also spiritual, but people don't talk about it.
You see, I was even saying that if you're a Christian, you can. But even if you're a Christian, and there is and there is, like you say, what is the proof or that kind of thing? There must be investigation, and there's a real proof that where you are going, the spiritual forces that you have to deal with. I mean, there was a time. I think one day I was teaching, and then on marriage, and I was talking about some of these things and I said that if there are some spiritual, and you think that you are strong to deal with them, go ahead, pray, do your thing. But if you look at the thing and look at how intense the thing is, and look at your spiritual strength, and you think that you can't deal with those kind of things, please leave them at times. where a mother or someone says that this is my child, you marry her. When if you do it, you marry for us to see, and he means it. Even if you're a Christian and you think that you are not strong enough, please leave them alone. Leave. Find another person, because it can create problems for you.
Okay. This is, good evening, Pastor. Please, I need counsel on this matter. I've been in a relationship with this guy for 2 to 3 years now. And if I don't ask him for something, he doesn't see the need to do it. He always complained of not having money, making it difficult for me to ask when I sincerely need support from him. I remember complaining about this. He said, I know he's not having money and he knows his responsibility. But now that he's not having, what should he do? Pastor, please, I love him, but I'm so confused how the future will be with him. Pastors, please, I need help. Thank you. So what advice do you have for this lady?
That's.
Is she marrying a Misa? Is it?
I mean, they're not married.
No, they are not married.
If they are not married, I think that the kind of responsibilities they are now putting on themselves is too much. If you are not married, you are not responsible for the person. Yes, you must be good. I mean, you must show that you love the person. But it's not a responsibility that.
My family need, you must at least show once in a while. You must show that you can release some money, but you are never releasing.
but okay. What I would say is that if he realizes that the guy is a miser, and because if today where he has not come together, crying, the love is there, he's not giving. What about happy when you get into marriage? As for that one, it will be worse. Whatever he's seeing now, it could be worse after the marriage. So if he realizes that I can't marry such a person, then he should find some way. Find his way.
So the question is, how do you now identify that the person, since you can't have responsibilities in a dating or courtship period, how do you now identify that this guy, when I marry him, he's liberal, he's not a miser? What are some of the signs to
so
look at?
the little acts of kindness. Little acts of kindness. You visit him, then you want to pick transport, and they said it's 30 Ghana cedis Uber, and he gives you a push. You can tell that this one in future he would be able to do something, or you are at lost and the person cares so much. Something has happened to you, and the way the person cares, like he's there for you, he's encouraging you. But this one is always, I don't have money. What are the little things you are doing to help? This shows that in future, when we come together, though I'm not demanding always from you, he can be responsible for me.
So you should be able to see some fruit that this person is not. Fruit.
Those people, when you go to the restaurant, after you have eaten, then they will start such.
Yes.
Oh, I have some money. Please, can you give
what?
When you go home?
I'll give it to you.
That's all.
Yes.
I know this guy.
Those are actually red flags, like we're saying. You can't be in a loving relationship and not give.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be big.
Yes.
Something small. But there must be that it should be seen, it should be observed over time. It should be an observable value, in your life. But if we are not seeing it now, if this lady is not seeing it now, nothing will change it. It will even get worse in the future.
Okay.
And we've seen that happening in many regulations.
So this is no name. Good evening, counselors. Please, I am married with 2 kids. But a few months ago, my husband started telling me that I should allow him to marry again. So I asked him why, and he's giving me excuses. But to my surprise, he was even staying with a lady who also has a child for him. Please, I need help. He's a deacon in, she mentions a church that I'll not mention, but a notable church. He's a deacon in the church. So just a few months ago, the man says, allow me to marry again. Only for the lady to realize that the man is already even staying with the woman and she has a child already. So what's your advice for
me at times I have a lot of questions for people who ask those questions. if a man is unfaithful like that, should have seen a long time. Is he saying that all of a sudden, then this man, a man like that, perhaps even while we were caught, he was sleeping with you because he doesn't have Christian commitments. He was sleeping with you, and that you should have known that the way this guy is treating me while we're not even married, and we are all lying to the church. You're all lying to the church that nothing has happened. I mean, why every day we're sleeping together? That's so. It means that the person doesn't have Christian converts. Since he goes to a Bible believing church, let them see their pastor. Go and tell the pastor also your deacon wants to marry again. So
he's already married.
He's already married because those days that the man doesn't stay at home, didn't you question him? Didn't you question him? Yeah. Why didn't you come home? Why are you staying out late? You didn't question. But now you want to put the counselors in a fix as to how to take decision for you. Go and tell your pastor, this one, he has aberrated from the paths of or the standards of God long time. So see your pastor.
Okay. This is from Zik from Nigeria. And he says, I'm married to my wife for a year now. I have a serious problem with my wife. Since we married, I had sex with her only 4 times. She's not allowing me to touch her because she said I can't satisfy her. And now she's going to sleep with her ex. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? When someone says you don't satisfy me, probably let's get a base. What does that mean? Is it that he's not good in bed? How would you?
The lady is not getting to her
she's
orgasm.
Not getting an orgasm. Okay.
Yes, she's not getting to her orgasm. And this is one reason why they say that do not fornicate.
That's it.
Yes, because
if
she
you
had
fornicated,
you wouldn't have known that this one is not good.
There's somewhere that you should have.
Yes, because he said he now wants to go back to the ex because the ex satisfied her very well. And if you have come to a point like this, maybe the other guy stayed a virgin before you married. So why don't you teach him? Someha. Teach him. Show him how to go about it to satisfy you. But you don't want him to say that you are a spoiled child. Now, he's also not enjoying you. If you were teaching him and the two of you were growing together, you would have enjoyed sex, because sex is to be enjoyed. It helps marriages. It eases. That is why it's for comfort. It comforts us. It takes our emotional stress away. So you need to enjoy it. If you are not enjoying it with your guy, teach him, help him, show him what he has to do to satisfy you.
So for the guy as well, how can he? The woman has given him a feedback. You are not satisfying me. How can he also? Maybe the woman is not listening, so the guy probably is listening for a feedback. How would the guy move from there to a point where he can have probably sex at the
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
The guy has to have enough information. To me, this is one of those things we talk about when we talk about the backstories of our sexual lives. This guy needs to, now, it is now blatant, it is open. You are saying you don't feel satisfied. So how would you help the guy? You need to teach the guy. You need to say to him, well, when I was over there, when I was in Egypt, I was doing A, B, C, D, and I liked it. And it's all, that's the openness that the guy needs to understand for the guy now to say, okay, I'll do this better. Because maybe he did not, for as far as his own backstory is concerned, he is quite oblivious to any kind of, sexual kind of activity. So he comes in, he's fresh, he's new, he does not have anything, so he does not know what to do. So guide him, say what needs to be said, help him understand how you enjoyed it, and you can teach him to say, okay, these are the things that you can do. And it can begin to happen gradually. So she has to be patient, but it's like her eyes are on the ex, like, oh, he's the specialist. Have we not had conversations here where the spouses or the ladies have gone back and then they come to realize that but it didn't, because it's not only about sex in the end, because it's about the intimacy. There are two aspects. There's the sexual activity and sexual intimacy. So if the activity is not being done right, talk about it. But then above that, you need to talk about the intimacy. How can we become more intimate?
Yeah.
So that it's not only sex, kissing, fondling, flirting with each other. All of those things help to make things better. So that's what I would say to this young man.
Okay.
One of the things that a lot of couples don't do is to have honest discussion about sex. Because of this traditional, if you go and say, 2 hours say, that kind of thing. But it's not good. The younger generation should, right from the beginning of their marriage, have frank discussion about it. But you see, and for the lady to, when you are talking about sex and to your husband, you must be careful, because a man's ego is attached to his sex life. So if you say it, that kind of thing, and in a derogatory way, it will affect him so much that it will even attack it, even worsen things. When he's coming, he's afraid, hey, am I going to perform, and that kind of thing, and things will be so it should be done in a very diplomatic way, and they should be frank to each other, and there are books. I mean, there are books. There is a book. If they are Christians, there's this book about Tim LaHaye, the Act of Marriage. Yeah. It's a very Christian book who describes the activity, everything.
Act of marriage.
Act of Marriage by Tim LaHaye.
By Tim LaHaye. Yeah, it's a good Christian book. So the two of you take the book, read that kind of thing. You show you, okay, let's try this and see how it is, and that kind of thing. And I don't think it's except there's a spiritual connotation. It shouldn't be very difficult for any normal man with a little training to be able to please.
And they can also see a counselor. Right. Yes, they can see a counselor. Who
but what the person, but what the lady is doing, it must not. It is sinful. You are in a marriage and you are now perhaps having sexual fantasy with your ex. That is sin already. So it should stop doing that.
Maybe it's an encouragement to let the man know that.
But anyway, it's wrong. It's wrong anyway. The emotions of
them. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is good. So Zik, if you are watching, you have a wide range of answers.
You
wish you the best. In satisfying your wife. Good evening, counselors. Please, I was in. Okay, so let me open the phone lines as well as I read this question. If you are watching us and you want to engage the counselors, the number to call is 0207 100001. 0207 10,000. That's 100001. You can call in and then you can engage the counselors with your question. This says, good evening, counselors. Please, I was in a relationship with a lady. We had in mind to marry someday until she one day told me she thinks we are not made for each other. Not knowing she had met another guy she had fallen for, according to her. According to her, the guy said God needs her to be with him so they fulfill their purposes in life. The guy is a pastor, she says. The lady, though, has decided to move along with the guy, but still wants me around as a close friend. Please, what do I do? So what's your advice to this young man?
Wants me as a close friend, to trouble his emotions. It's not right. If he's gone, let him go. If it's good morning. Me cry, I will advise that even just block his number, no communication, and let him go. Let him go.
I agree, because he didn't go in to be friends with her. He went in because he felt attracted to her and was thinking of marriage. So if you have moved on, just moved on. There are other people you can make friends with, but not me. Like Osofo said, don't come and disturb my emotions. Let her go. You will find another.
This is good evening, counselors. Please, is it good for you to marry someone at your workplace? Is it good for you to marry someone at your workplace?
What is wrong with that?
I thought it's the best way to do.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yes.
You
It's
married-
just that when you are in a bank, they will separate you. If you are in the same department, they will separate you from the department.
Okay. Well, good evening, Pastor. I need counsel on this matter. Please, I've been in a relationship with this guy for 2 to 3 years now. And if I don't ask him for something, okay, so I've read that. It's a
Yes.
repetition. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Good evening. You are live on Ask the Counsellors. Tell us your name and where you are calling from, and we'll be glad to hear your question. Hello. Okay, we lost the caller there. Good evening, counselors. I have been broken-hearted since last year and decided not to enter into any relationship yet. But now I have been imagining how I will have met my partner and how beautiful it will be. I've been praying to stop imagining, but can't. Is it an obsession? Please help me. Please help me.
I'm sure this is a young man.
Or woman.
Or woman. And with the youthfulness, the changes happen in your life when you start feeling one way for the opposite sex. So I want him to know, or I want her to know, that it is normal. He's wired properly if he's having feelings that way. Or as he's thinking about, he's praying, but he wants to kind of shove this to one corner so that it doesn't disturb him, somehow. So it's not, you cannot decide to do that, because it's all part of your wiring, for you to feel, for you to imagine, and all of that. It's all part of your wiring, but it's how you channel it. So I would encourage him to continue to pray, so that he will get to see, that person that he may be interested in, and will get to talk to that person and get to know that person a little bit.
Okay, all right. This is from Felicia Quinn from Takwa, and she says, "Good evening, counselors. I'm really enjoying the discussions. Please keep it up."
Thank you.
Thank you. Julia from Kumasi says, "I dated a guy for 8 years, and in the interval of 8 years, this guy got married and divorced his wife. He wants to marry me. Should I agree? And he's the one taking care of everything, including my tertiary education." So we're dating within the period of, for 8 years. Within the 8 years, the guy got married, divorced his wife, and he's come back to want to marry her. But as a matter of fact, the guy is the one taking care of everything as well, including education, everything.
I remember a friend of ours, there was a situation, he said, "I've entangled myself." This one, he has entangled herself. It's too complex, but because how come you were dating with that person, the person got married, and now you have also, he's giving you money, and there's no free lunch. He's paying your school fees and things like that. It's neither here or there, because he's paying your school fees. It looks like you're obligated to marry. But this is a marriage, you can also see that may not have a future, because this guy may not really love you. Perhaps he's using the fact that he's taking care of you for sexual satisfaction. You are there, he has money, so it goes around now. But and you always ask him why, because you are taking money from him. He should get to know Christ, believe God, find a way of cutting this, because this situation cannot go on like that, because you can't continue to let him take care of you and still refuse him. And when you marry him, there's a clear cut that this marriage wouldn't go anywhere. So
sometimes young people just opt for the easy life. She wants to be receiving the cash. Now she's asking the question, "Oh, what should I do?" It's like you don't know what you should do. That's not a relationship you want to continue with, because one, you don't know what transpired between him and the wife. Okay, now they're divorced. Did he even take some time after the divorce let's say, have there been like 5 years that have passed, or 3 years that have passed, or it's immediately after the divorce, he's coming back to you?
There is a clear indication that when the man was married, the relationship was not severed.
Yeah.
There's a clear indication, and might even be the cause for the divorce.
Even the divorce, yeah.
And so you can't exonerate yourself from what is going on. You are part of it. You know why the man is divorced. That means when he was even married, he was still seeing you. He was still paying for your school fees. Now, Bishop will say, what should we say? Oh, it's okay. Now he's divorced. You can go on. It's up to you. The choice is yours. But why did they divorce? Why? Have you asked him? Do you know why? How is he? Who is he? How does he treat women? What is the way forward?
What if she's the reason why?
If she's the reason why, then she should go ahead and go and apologize and tell the woman that I am the cause. Go and do retribution.
Maybe after I married, you realize that.
And prepare for the consequences, because all these things are God's consequences.
Yes.
All right. So if you are watching us, you are live on Ask the Counsellors. We are having a Q&A, question and answer session. You can send your questions to us on 020-343 020-343-8710, 020-343-8710. I almost confused that with the call line. And you can also call us and interact with the counselors. And the number to do that on is 0207-100001, 0207-100001. That's 10,000. And interact with the counselors. It says, please, what do I do when my husband finds it difficult to pick my calls when he goes to work and gives me an excuse that his boss is worrisome? We've just been married for 4 months, and sometimes it makes me feel that I'm not being prioritized. Thank you. I'm Akosia from Adan. So she calls, the husband can't pick the calls because he's at work and he says his boss is worrisome. Could it be true? Could it be?
Yeah, maybe it could be true. There are work ethics.
Yeah.
You cannot be at work and you're picking phone calls, all of that. You cannot do that. In fact,
in some jobs, you mean?
Yes.
In some jobs, even the internet is blocked. They don't want people to be on the internet. Some jobs have even the cameras. They watch what their staff is doing. So if they have a candid conversation, to say, well, sometimes I call you, but it takes long for you to answer. Is there any? Then they talk about it. Then the lady should understand maybe it's work ethic. But if it's like the man is dodging the woman, then that's something that has to be treated differently. Why is he dodging you? Is it that the boss or the one he's working for, they have some kind of a relationship? So she feels that when this call's coming, it's from the wife and she doesn't take kindly to that. And maybe it's a bit obnoxious to the guy, and the guy feels that, oh, I don't want to displease this one at the office. She wouldn't know except they talk. She wouldn't know except they have the conversation. And I would also say, if it is not those jobs where it is so heavy, where you cannot go in to visit. From time to time, if the husband just wants to allay the fears of the wife, you can pop in at some point to just see me or talk to me. Maybe if you call I'm busy, just pop in and then we can talk briefly and then you can, that kind of a thing. But they have to have the conversation for this to be settled.
The man too should, just like being frank, let her know when she can call.
Okay.
Your boss can't be worrisome for the 8 or to 9 hours you will be at the office. You can call me between 12 and 1. I can receive it. But freshly married couples, 4 months, and the lady is getting suspicious, I think it's worrisome. So they should have frank chats, and the lady too should give the man the benefit of the doubt. You're only 4 months in marriage, and he comes home to come and sleep by you, and he goes to work 4 months, and you want to allow him to work.
Maybe before he had the job, I don't know how the relationship has been. Maybe they've been communicating
Yes.
They had the frequent communication.
Yes.
So now it's like it has stalled somehow, So is that the issue? But like Reverend said, they really need to have the frank conversation.
Okay. So this is from some of our live viewers, and this says, "Hello, Pastor. Good evening. Please, my name is Emanuela. Can I get Mommy's number? All right, we'll send it to you, Emanuela. Pastor, please, what do you do if you realize that at a point in marriage, your husband has not had a total change in terms of being in Christ? So you marry and realize that this man, he was not as changed as I thought. He was coming to church, probably was even in a department, but when we got married, I realized that, there was some deception somewhere."
And you're already married, so what would you do? All that you do is to pray. Is to pray. Peter said something that if a woman marries an unbeliever, by her conduct and by her chastity, he can convert that unbeliever. So I normally ask Christians who have married Christian brothers who have challenges in character. I was saying that if that unbeliever can be changed by the woman's character, by the character of the Christian, it should be easier for the sister to be able to change a Christian who has challenges in his character. But normally the problem is that when we marry Christians, our expectation is there. And so when things that shouldn't even have been a problem, it becomes a big issue. So there are times when you marry and you have those challenges. Number one, believe the person can change. What a lot of Christian sister, grandbrother believe that when they see a problem, they can convince you with a lot of conviction he can't change. No, also he can't change. And as long as you maintain that situation, he can't change. And as if that you have married the worst person in the whole world, the problem will be there. Believe your husband can change. Put on, be the mature person in the relationship. And as time goes on, the Lord will touch the person's heart.
And sometimes they're in a mad rush to get married. That has always been the situation where you find, cases like this. You're always, we need to get married. We need to get married. It's like a life and death matter. No, it isn't. Take your time to get to know each other. Now they are confusing dating and courtship. They don't know what is dating. They don't know what is courtship. But when you actually date, you get to know the person a little bit. You get to know the strengths, the weaknesses. You get to know something about the person. And you get to that point where you now make a decision to say, I think I will live all the rest of my days with you. That's when you get to the courtship. And you begin now to, so things like going out together, going to church together, all of those things are the normal practices that should form part of that relationship. It should not be just one-off, you see each other once in a week, and then you don't even know if he's going to church and all of. No, get engaged, get to know how he's doing, how things are going with his spiritual life or our spiritual life. I remember those times when I started my relationship. I would spend some time with my wife, Melrose, and I would say to her, so how was your quiet time today? What did you learn? We'll talk about that. We'll be working on this. So you gauge her spirituality. You get a sense that somehow there is growth taking place. So there will be no surprises. Yes, the character things will show up, because we all need to continue to surrender to Christ. But if it is that blatant, there was deception like you put it, then it's a very difficult one. You have to pray and lean on the Lord for that. You cannot change him. It's the Spirit of God that will change him.
Yes. So like he's saying, let me add to it. Many a times that the young men and women in church who are dating or even their conversation is without Christ. It is not Christ-centered. They talk about things outside the church. But like you were saying, if the conversation is around ministries, around church, it's around your growth, they don't even pray together. talk about my son-in-law and even the big brother. There were times they prayed with the would-be. They were praying even before they even thought of even the wedding or whatever it is. They don't pray, so you don't even know how the man prays or the woman prays. The kind of prayer, you see. So when you are engaging in such a manner, you will know the character. Even those of us who married outside Christ, when we came into Christ, by prayer and like Reverend said, your conduct and your actions brought the man to Christ. And so if you just went along with the fact that you wanted to marry, thinking that because he goes to church, he would. When they marry, they don't. I said the other time that a woman called me and said, talk to your son. Oh, he deceived the woman. He went to church with the woman for a long time. When they got married, he stopped going to church. That is what will happen if you just want marriage, but you don't want a Christian home.
So if you pick it on this note, so you got married, the man was a believer, probably he was much more spiritual than you were. But along the line he backslided. How do you now get him back? What would be, so this is not deception, but it was a real deal, but along the line something happened and he backslid.
You are the right person to help the man back. You are the right, you the spouse, you are the right person. Prayer, intercession, prayer.
And your
show of character. And your show of character. Love the unlovable. Show love. I mean, love overcomes what I've forgotten
a multitude
of sins. So when you show real love, unconditional love, the way he's behaving, he's expecting you to react in such a way that, but instead of doing that, you still show love. You will overcome his bad conduct with your love.
Okay. This says, good evening, counselors. I am Mawu Menyo from the Volta region. Please, counselors, I am pregnant for this guy, but he has refused to be responsible. And I believe she's talking about taking care of her in the pregnancy. Okay, so I just lost that question. This says, I'm in a relationship for a year now. I have been taking care of myself since I met him because he's not yet working. I got to know he's still talking to his ex. I asked him and he denied dating her. So I decided not to entertain him for a month just to punish him for cheating on me. But I fell in love with another guy. I have forgiven my guy, but I still have feelings for my new crush. And this is really killing me inside. Should I give my new crush a chance or stick to my guy? Please help me. I'm Magdalene from Takrady.
They're both confused now.
You are.
You're confused. Go ahead.
I she's the only person who can decide. And the reality of life is that he can't marry the two of them. So so if it's a Christian, this is a way to go to God. God, this one, which one are you saying? And ask for counsel for mature believers and be able to take a decision for which of the two that you want to go out, what you want to proceed with the relationship.
Okay. So the question from Mao Menyo says, from the Volta region, please, counselors, I'm pregnant for this guy. He has refused to be responsible, but his mom is outside the country and she's trying to help in a way. Now my question is, am I to write his surname for the child or not? Am I to include the surname? What is normally done?
Yes.
The surname is the name of the father of your child. And so whether the man if the man accepts that I got you pregnant, when you have the child should bear the surname. It is only when he refuses to accept that I am responsible for the pregnancy. Then, when family members come in and still he is not accepting the child as his, why should he not accept the child? That means you were unfaithful along the way. And so he felt that, oh, I am not the only person, but you are bringing it to me. Then you are confused. But if you are clear that this is the guy who got you pregnant, and he accepts it, but is not responsible, when the child comes, name the child after.
I think that lady is
a little confused.
Concerned about what I would call frivolities.
Yes.
Be thinking about the future of your child.
Yes.
Be thinking about your own future. What are you going to do? Is that guy going to marry you? Are you going to get another person to marry? What are you going to do with your life and the child? Thinking about, you are not worried about names. There are more important things to think about this than just thinking about names and things.
I feel though that there are some families, or I've come in contact with families who think that if the guy doesn't honor, the guy is not responsible enough, do not give the name. So I'm sure that's what maybe she's struggling with.
Okay.
Should I give the name because he's not doing this much? But now she's had that as long as you are confident that that is the man of the child, then the child should be at the name.
So it's a choice. You can choose to give the name of the man if he's not responsible.
No, I don't know. No. As long as that the person, the responsible person is there, that name, that child should be there. But there should be no going to the left or to the right to say because we are not responsible, we'll change the name. No. The name is the name. The person is the person who has done this.
You see, in Africa, in Ghana, there are certain tribes that don't strictly go by like some tribes. They don't go by the name of the father. They name the child after somebody. But that you have to let the child, when asked that, like you are naming somebody after you, it should be you. The child is a Bediako, but I have chosen to name the child after Ajinasari. That one, it's there. But if you want the child to grow up to know who the father is, then the name should resonate the name of the father. Because there are some tribes they are like that. The father's name is Opoku, but the child is named after somebody who's called Jamesy. It's allowed in some tribes. But in my tribe, which is strictly patrilineal, you have to name the child in a certain way, and the surname should be after the father of the child.
Even if he didn't play a part in taking care of the child.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So thank you all. Too soon we have come to the end of this evening session. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties we had at the beginning of the show, and then last week as well. We are still trying to resolve the difficulties we are having in the studio. But thank you for joining us. Next week we'll come back and pick up where we left off. We still have your questions that you sent in this evening. Next week we'll start with those questions as well. But you can keep your questions coming in. Next week we'll try and open the phone lines quite early so that if you want to engage personally with the counselors, you can also do so. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. We'll ask Reverend Ajo to pray, and then we'll call it an evening.
Our dear Lord and Master, we thank you for a time like this. We thank you for your help, O God, to be able to meet our listeners at the point of their needs. There are many more questions, O God, than we can answer. But Holy Spirit, we are praying that you would convict your people by your Spirit. You would teach them. You would cause them to learn the ways of God, to be in a relationship. Because Lord, Holy Spirit, it is you who are our teacher. We are asking that marriages, oh God, shall grow in the knowledge of you. Husband and wives, people in relationship would have a deeper understanding of what marriage is. Father, people who are hurting in their marriages, we ask that you will lift the pain and you will heal their hearts in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
We pray that it shall be well in homes and in families, in Jesus' mighty name. We commit those of us that you have chosen, my God, to be helpers to people in need. Grant us the wisdom, grant us the heart, grant us the knowledge and the understanding to carry, oh God, with our listeners, their burdens, and to be able to help them solve their problems. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Have a good night and a blessed week. Bye-bye.
Bye.